Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm 𝗕𝗏, your host for your Supreme Shine YouTube channel. Today we would like to carry on the episode about our detailing discussions and bring you through more in-depth details about the wash process. So if you are a car enthusiast like us, or if you are a fellow detailer, you will know that there's one thing that pains a lot of car owners and a lot of detailers. One thing that is very hard to get rid of, is not a pleasant sight for anyone to see on your car, is your water spots. Now, water spots can be formed by a variety of reasons. Today we would like to just touch on water spots in the second half of the video. In the first half of the video, we would like to bring you through what we discussed previously. We'll talk more about the wash process, how to better optimize your wash so that your car is clean yet not harm your car's paint. And also we want to dive deep into the shampoos. Last episode we talked about shampoos, the type of shampoos you should choose. We focus a lot more on the pH balance and the acidic shampoo. But there are more shampoos to talk about, such as the ceramic shampoos, such as the wash and wax shampoos. We want to dive deep into those things, and we want to talk more about the composition of those shampoos in the first half. We will also take some time to touch on the equipment and the products that you can use for your wash. And in the second half of the video, we'll talk about the drying process during a wash. What cloth should you use for drying? What equipment should you use? How good are blowers for drying? From there, we'll talk about water spots, how they are formed. How are water spots formed? What can you do to prevent water spots from forming on your car through proper drying? And last but not least, what can you do to remove those water spots, and how do we remove those water spots? Now, all these videos takes about 10 to 15 hours to produce, from the script writing, the drafting, all the way to the editing. We do hope you find them informative, and of course, if you have any questions or any comments, please leave them down in the comment section down below. If you find this video interesting or worthy of your discussion within your group chats, please share them around with your friends. Now, without further ado, let's dive right in. Alright, for all the viewers that not familiar with us, we are actually based in Singapore. So for all our local viewers, all these products over here, they are available locally. We get them from our friends at 𝗕𝗏𝗀𝗀 and SONAX Singapore. The links that we provided in the description should lead you directly to the products if you are looking to purchase them for yourself. But of course, if there's something specific that you'd like to ask about the products, or you need more help deciding on what you should get, feel free to let us know. Now, in the previous video, which you can catch out in the link up here, we talked about the difference between a DIY car wash and a petrol kiosk wash. Today, we would just like to bring a comparison between a detailing shop wash and a petrol kiosk wash. Now, what's the difference between the two? Obviously and evidently, everyone knows that there is a price difference. But where does this price difference come from? Is there a difference in quality to justify that? Well, we believe that there is, because let's start with petrol kiosk washes. Petrol kiosk washes, they tend to be faster. They are done in the interest of time. They do use generic products to promote speed and convenience for car washes. They are very suitable for any car owners. They are just looking for a quick fix, queue up in the car wash, and then just go through it. Boom, your car is thoroughly clean. However, because of the nature of the business itself, how it prioritizes speed, convenience, and also accessibility for everyone, their wash process will be very thorough. But it might not be that effective in removing the embedded dirt and contaminants on your car paint itself. Because we know for a fact that express car wash, they might not be as effective at removing embedded dirt and tough contaminants on the rims like brake dust. This is something that we at Supreme Shine, we pride ourselves in doing it. Now, for a detailing shop wash, the price is higher than a petrol kiosk wash, but we do believe that it is definitely justified. Just have a look at all these products. All these are various products that we use at our disposal, sort of like weapons of mass cleaning, just for a simple car wash. The higher car wash price is justified by the fact that we do use a variety of equipment and products. For example, if you do notice in our videos, our cleaning, washing videos, you do see that we usually start the wash appointments with a brush. We use the brush to agitate the emblems, the grooves, and also the badges of the car, just to loosen up all the dirt that's around there. This is consistent with our belief as a detailer of minimize contact, maximum effort. Now, at Supreme Shine, we are always looking to have quality services for our customers, to give them the most value for money services. We use a a generous amount of products on the customer's car in order to ensure that we do not leave any swirls or scratches. Yes, most of the swirls and scratches are invisible to the naked eye, but it is a belief that we have as detailers and car enthusiasts that we need to be as ethical as possible when we are cleaning a car. For the pre-rinse process, we stick to our beast cleaner. The beast cleaner is something that we are a fan of. Our friends at SONAX Singapore are also very nice enough to give us a very good price for the bundles from the sales they have in recent months. We actually started with 𝗪𝐺𝑖𝑎's solvent. It's a D11301, if I'm not wrong, the code for the product. The solvent is good in being a pre-rinse product. It actually helps to dissolve and remove the tar on the car. Act as a tar remover, it acts as an insect remover. However, we find that it's not very effective in removing iron deposits, which is why we moved our vision and our focus to products such as the Iron X remover from CarPro. However, over the month, we decided that we wanted to go with the beast cleaner because of because of the price, and the second one is because the bottle is actually very handy. I'm actually a fan of this design. It's nice to grip at the top, and because the bottom is so wide, when you place it on the floor, it doesn't topple that easily. Especially when the volume in the bottle runs lower, and then you start to feel the bottle is very light. So sometimes when you move it around, you don't have the trouble of it being toppled over, and then you have to have the frustration of picking it back up again. It's a small thing, but it's definitely something that I will speak nicely of. So do check out with our friends at SONAX Singapore. You will probably end up finding a very cheerful guy that's very enthusiastic about cars and car cleaning. Shout out to Darwin. Congratulations on your recent certifications and your achievements in the detailing world. Now, we are definitely not saying that 𝗪𝗺𝐺𝑖𝑎's products are bad, but in Singapore's context, like we explained in the previous video, we do believe that iron removal does have a stronger place in a car wash process locally as compared to something that is not so aggressive on iron contaminants, which is the 𝗪𝗺𝐺𝑖𝑎's. Hence, we are sticking with the beast cleaner. Now, which brings us back to the point of a detailing wash versus a petrol kiosk wash, is the understanding of the car paint, the local climate, and also the understanding of the products itself. We definitely pride ourselves in that over a typical express petrol kiosk wash, especially when it comes to individual customers. Now, the issue with using generic products is that because of the wash process, the nature of it, generic products might end up being harmful for some cars, while at the same time being doing too little for some cars. What I mean to say is that because of how generic the products are, they don't vary in strength. They might just stick to a brand or a single type of soap. Cars that are very dirty or cars that are not that dirty, they go through the same wash process. So from a logical point of view, you will end up with some cars being pretty clean for typical car owner standard, and also not clean enough for some car owners who are driving a car that hasn't been maintained well in terms of cleaning. Now, as detailers, apart from understanding a product and the technical aspects of a wash, we also pride ourselves in understanding our customers and their driving habits. What are their preferences? How often do they drive the car? Where they usually park? And based on this knowledge and information, we formulate a plan to best tackle their cars in terms of the wash. Which is why, for example, a car that is parked outdoors would be exposed to more contaminants and miscellaneous stuff, just like what we mentioned about being parked under a tree for the previous video. Which is why when we tackle these cars, products such as the beast cleaner do help us a lot. I might sound like a broken record promoting the beast cleaner, but we do believe that it helps every car owner in the wash process. For us, we are very grateful for it making the car wash process a lot safer and of course a lot more effective and time efficient. Now, we always try to improve our knowledge of products, which is why in the shampoos that we use, we have also tried multiple types of shampoos, and we also try to improve the shampoos that we use. Over the months, we have been using the Maxi Suds. It helps us to maximize the amount of foam and soap that we use during the car wash process. But over the months, we did try out and start to experiment with other brands and other products. One of the things that we are starting to be a fan of is also this Active Foam Energy from SONAX. Now this active foam energy, just like what is promoted, it is a slow foam concentrate. It helps us maximize the amount of foam, the thick layer of foam that is onto the car when we use our foam cannons and our foam guns. But what is in the car shampoo itself? What determines the layer of foam? What determines the washing capabilities of a shampoo? Now we're going to enter that. Pardon us for a moment as we are going to get very technical and very chemical, and a lot of chemical things are going to fly around. Now when it comes to car shampoo, there are 4 things that you need to know about it. Now the 4 things are, firstly, the surfactants. Sometimes they are known as the solvents. The second is the lubricants. The third is the polymers, and of course the fourth is the conditioners. Now we'll go through this one by one. Firstly, the solvent or the surfactants. These are the compounds in the wash process itself that help to dissolve and melt the dirt on the car. All these contribute to the cleaning capabilities of the car itself. So if you have a higher surfactant concentration in the soap, it adds to your soap's cleaning abilities. These molecules in the surfactant also have 2 ends of the spectrum. One end of the spectrum makes them more reactive to water, while the other end makes them more reactive to oil and grease. Now no matter what is it, their function is the same. It's just to attack the dirt and reduce it to something that is easily removed, as it dissolves into the soap and the soap just gets washed away, either by a cloth wash or a rinse. Now there are a few common surfactants in car shampoos. These are the chemical terms. They are the sodium lauryl sulfate, the sodium laureth sulfate, and also the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 made for common knowledge. Now, the second thing to talk about is about the lubricants. Lubricants, as the name suggests, it is about the layer of lubricant between the car paint that the soap gives, so that when you wash the car, it's not too rough. This is also the reason why a normal water wash will never be as effective as a soap wash because of the lubricant contents in the soap. Now, common soap lubricants will include things such as glycerin, propylene glycol, and also aloe vera. Now we enter the lesser known terms. The third thing in the car shampoo that we would like to talk about is also the polymers. Now the polymers are a compound that gives the shine and also the hydrophobic capabilities to car paint when the soap acts on it. These are the ones that are responsible in the magic in ceramic shampoos, in wash and wax shampoos, and of course we do have a range of those products. We would like to introduce them to you soon. One of which that we are looking at is the SONAX ceramic shampoo, which has the ability to give your car a layer of protection, and you might find that suddenly your car repels water and dirt pretty well. Now, for the chemical enthusiasts, here are the chemical terms. We have the common polymers in car shampoos: polydimethylsiloxane, 𝗤𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 any names. Now, in the topic of polymers, there are a huge range of shampoos like the ceramic shampoo, the wash and wet shampoo. We do know of their existence, but we seldom go towards that end of the spectrum for car shampoo, simply because we do believe that when it comes to washing, we want to focus more on washing. So all our products of the wash, like this Active Foam Energy, we focus heavily on it and we use it because it helps us wash the car. Job done, that's what we want. Now, after that, after the wash process, then we will start to introduce products that help to protect and maintain your car's coating, or help give your car a layer of protectant so that it's easier to maintain and also easier to repel dirt, makes it easier to repel dirt. And that's where our products like this SONAX spray and seal comes in. So if you ask us what are the benefits of ceramic shampoo, wash and wet shampoo, we're not against it. They definitely have a place. But for us, our preference is just simply a good wash and a good protection. Because when you consider all these products in the shampoo itself, a wash and wet shampoo or a ceramic coating shampoo would have more polymers in it, which means the concentration of the surfactant and the lubricant might be lesser. This is something that we are more mindful of, hence we tend to stay away from those shampoos when we wash our customers' cars. Now, the last thing that is seldom talked about for car shampoos, and also the last component of a car shampoo's composition, we have the conditioners. Conditioners are just like a hair conditioner. Conditioners help to moisturize the car's coating. It's quite important in a climate like Singapore where the weather is sometimes very warm and the car paint might be very hot, and also the coating might dry up or be easily damaged due to the usual weather conditions. Conditioners are quite important when you do a maintenance car wash. We do take into consideration that when we plan our maintenance car wash package. One notable fact about conditioners that you might like knowing is that they help to reduce the appearance of swirls and also the appearance of scratches. Sometimes you might feel that the tiny scratch that you have on your car is suddenly less visible after the wash. The conditioners probably have something to do with that. They might contain fillers that help to mask out the appearance of fine scratches. Now, common conditioners in a car shampoo will include things like coconut oil, lanolin, and wheat proteins. The reason why we are introducing all these chemical terms is also to enter a deeper discussion in the future for the chemical composition of car shampoos when we start to compare brand to brand. And also, being detailing geeks and detailing nerds, we also like to talk about these chemical compounds. While we might not be able to pronounce them, we do identify them through their acronyms, and also that helps us understand the product better. Now, all in all, try to imagine the shampoo ingredients like a team of specialized cleaners. Each ingredient has a role of its own and helps to break down and remove dirt and grime from your car surface. The surfactants are the workhorses. They are responsible for lifting away the dirt. The lubricants are the magicians. They help to prevent the damage. The polymers are like the bodyguards of the shampoo, creating a protective barrier. And also the conditioners, lastly, act as the healer. They nourish and improve the health of the car's paint, and for some shampoos, they also help to nourish and improve the health of the car's coating. We have received feedback and also comments from other detailers or also our customers as to why there's a need for so many products, so many different shampoos or so many different compounds that we use. A main reason is because at Supreme Shine, we do believe in each car being uniquely different. Even if it's the same make and model, cars are subjected to different conditions. How often do the customers wash, like we said? How often do they maintain their car? Where do they usually park? Each car is unique, and that's why the guiding principle behind us trying different products, buying different products, so that we can have the best tools at our disposal to answer a problem from the customer's cars. Be it how dirty is it, how problematic it may be, what layer of protectant it has on the car itself. And all these products, it helps us to have better answers and gives our customer a more, a customized answer and a customized wash to their car. And like we said, this is part of the reason why we believe that detailing washes deserve a higher price than a petrol kiosk wash, because of how customized they are to their customers. We understand our customers, we try to do that, and in proving that and answering to that, we give them the best services available. Now, we have talked about the composition of the shampoos. Now we would just like to bring you through the different types of shampoos that you might see in your usual petrol kiosk wash and the ones that are available in the market. The previous video we talked about the pH neutral shampoo and the acidic shampoos. While it's not exactly the same, we also have to draw a differentiation between a consumer end product and also a commercial use product. So consumer shampoos and commercial use shampoos are quite different. The difference lies in the fact that commercial use shampoos are more suitable for detailers like us. They might be more concentrated and have a higher cleaning ability due to the purpose of these shampoos. Whereas as opposed to consumer shampoos, they tend to have an added layer of polymers in it to have those gloss or added benefits, like a gloss enhancing shampoo or a ceramic coating shampoo or a wash and wet shampoo. Now, it is important to know that these shampoos might, if used incorrectly, like we warned in the previous video, they might harm your car's protectant. Now, the second thing that we would like to talk about is the waterless wet shampoo. Now, waterless wet shampoos, there are a few examples. The first one is the chemicalguys 𝗐𝐭 Smart. They have a product that helps with washing the car waterlessly, and also the 𝗪𝗧𝗧, I believe the product code for this 𝗪𝗧𝗧 waterless wash is M3626. Now these waterless washes, we are not a fan of it. They are promoted as a way to keep your car clean in between complete washes. So they act similarly as a detailer. However, we believe, like in Singapore's context, with all the factors that we have been discussing for these two videos, waterless washes do not help with the customer's cars. In fact, it might even cause more harm than good if you don't use them properly. The reason for that is because the amount of lubricants in a waterless wash shampoo would never be able to compete against an actual foam and actual soap water, the lubricants that it provides. There are limits to waterless washes. You won't be able to completely get rid of breakdowns the same way you would in a usual wash. We personally are not a fan of waterless washes. We do know of customers that have the habit of or preference of doing that. So our recommendation, we actually do use a detailer instead. We find that the oil components in a detailer, they would be more beneficial to the car, as they introduce a layer of lubricant onto the car paint when you wipe it with a microfiber cloth. We might be a bit more paranoid or mindful of all this, but as detailers, we feel that it's part of our job. Next, we would like to talk about will be the ceramic shampoo and the wash and wet shampoo. I would like to list these two together, but they are definitely not the same. The polymers in these shampoos are different, with the ceramic shampoos containing more SiO2, and the wet shampoo might contain more gloss enhancers, which will bring us back to the different chemical compounds that I listed just now in the video. These shampoos, like 𝗕𝗏𝗏𝗏, they have lesser cleaning capabilities due to the theoretical reduced concentration of the surfactants, and might even be reduced concentration of lubricants because they have to introduce more polymers into this shampoo itself. However, we have to also give it credit. These shampoos are very effective for cars that are already very well maintained. You see, consider a car that has not been dirtied for a while, they are regularly washed, is regularly protected and cleaned with a proper detailer and a microfiber cloth. Now all this, then you wouldn't really need a very high cleaning capability for a wash, would you? You would prefer something that can give you an added benefit, and that's when all these ceramic shampoos like SONAX Extreme and all the wash and wet shampoos, they come into place. For car owners that properly do take care of their cars, and for detailers who see that, hey, this car does not have a lot of embedded dirt on it, we do not need to go very strong on the cleaning process. We can just enhance the gloss as we wash the car. But still, it's still our personal preference to stick to something that is more tried and true. It's something that is more categorized and focused. So still the same thing, wash, protect, separate products. Now coming on next on our list is the dilution ratio of the shampoo. Each shampoo, each brand has a different recommended dilution ratio. If you are doing this on your own for the first few times, it is important to follow the dilution ratio, especially when you consider shampoos that have polymers in it, have different conditioners in it, because they will affect the effect of the shampoo. Relating on to the dilution ratio, we also have foam and non-foam shampoos. Foam and non-foam shampoos, the main deciding factor between these two would be the lubricants, because after all, a good foam will be useful for the car wash process because of how it clings onto the car paint and how it dissolves. So I would say that these two, the composition that you have to take note of would be the surfactants and also the lubricants. What's the difference between the two? Foam shampoos are usually made for foam cannons and foam guns, whereas non-foam shampoos are optimized for usual 2-bucket washes. Detailers, we do tend to stick to foam shampoos like we mentioned. It's definitely not just limited to us. Any car enthusiast can also grab a foam gun or foam cannon of your own. And nowadays with the setup at HDB car washes, you will find it very useful and very easy to set up your own setup for washes. Last but not least, we also have to give credit to the rinse aids when we talk about shampoos. With proper rinse aids, the cleaning and drying process can be made easier, and like we said, we do enjoy the use of a pre-wash rinse aid and also a post-wash rinse to give the car a proper dirt removal and also give a car a final layer of protection. All these services, all these products, they are listed as part of our maintenance wash packages, and you might see from our usual Instagram or detailing, when we talk about our detailing journey, our company's Instagram will always feature all these products that we use, because we like to bring our customers alongside this journey as we start detailing the car. To us, it's like an adventure, and trying out different products, trying out different things as we go around, and we learn more and we understand more about this whole cleaning industry, this whole car enthusiast journey. It's part of the fun of the job. Now we talked about the importance of choosing the right shampoo and our approach to washing a car, but no wash is complete without a proper drying process. And if you don't properly dry your car, you'll end up with your car having a lot of water spots. What are water spots? How are they formed? Let's talk about it now. Water spots are formed when water is left on the car, either because it's not dried properly or because it is not dried at all. How are water spots formed? They are usually formed when the water on the car is left to dry and it gets worse due to heat. Now, common sources of heat would be on the bonnet of the car itself, where the engine is just right below the bonnet, and also the usual sun, which is why in Singapore you will usually see a lot of cars they are parked outside. They will have a lot of water spots on the bonnet of the car and also the roof of the car. Now, the scientific explanation for this is because the water that lands on your car paint is not technically 100% clear water. If you're talking about rainwater will have dirt and grime in it, it's dirty water. If you're talking about mineral water will have different compounds and chemicals inside it. And of course, there's also tap water, like we mentioned in our last video, there is fluorine and chlorine in it for Singapore's tap water. All these contaminants, when they are on the car paint itself and the water evaporates either through being heated or it's just it evaporates on its own, they would be left behind on the car paint itself. Now, the difference and the circumstances between a car that is driven into the car park and let a car that is drenched air dry compared to a car that is in an open air car park and baked under the sun, these two cars would have different levels of water spots. The one that is under the sun may find that the water spots are etched into the clear coat. It will be harder to remove. And the reason for that is similar to the two analogies I'm about to give. The first one is about a cup of water. Imagine a cup of water that has clear water in it, but you start to add contaminants into it. Dirt, dust, maybe a bit of pepper and salt. Things like this that makes the water less pure. And when you pour all this water away from the cup, some of these contaminants might still end up being inside the cup itself. They might be stick onto the walls of the cup. Another example I would choose to give is a situation where a clean shirt, let's say a white shirt is stained with coffee. Now, when it's stained with coffee, you could wash it immediately and you might be able to get the stains off. But if that shirt is left to dry, or even worse, heated, you dry the shirt with the coffee stain itself, the coffee stain will end up being on the shirt and it will be very hard to remove, even through very strong chemicals like bleach or multiple washes with detergents. Now, water spots, similar concept. They will be very hard to remove without the right equipment and right products. And what are the right equipment and right products? Let's dive right into it. Now, what are the ways that you can do to help prevent water spots from forming on your car? There are two approaches to it. One, we are going to talk about the existing water spots, how do you remove it? And the second, we talk about how to prevent it in the first place. Now, in terms of water spot removals, because effectively water spots are minerals that are left behind on the car itself, there are products in the market that help to remove these mineral deposits etched onto the car paint. The first one will be the CG's water spot remover, a very specific product for this purpose. We also have tried the Car Pro Spotless 2.0. The Spotless 2.0 is an improved version of the previous model they had, the Spotless 1.0. And the Spotless 2.0 excels in removing the mineral deposits on the car paint and also the car windows. Now, the problem with these products is that they are acidic in nature, because that is required to remove the mineral deposits. So even on the product label itself, Car Pro Spotless 2.0, they warn that you cannot use this on a hot glass or in direct sunlight. Do not leave it on the paint for over 2 minutes. Do not leave it on the glass for over 2 minutes as well. It may damage ceramic coating if left to dry. and you should always allow for a 30 to 60 second time frame for the spotless 2.0 to break down mineral deposits. It's an intense water spot removal, and it works for both car paints and also glass surfaces. You would usually find water spots in these two areas, but the most headache and problematic spot to find water spots and stains would be your plastic trims. For example, for the few Subaru Foresters that we have done for the previous few months, we find it very heart-aching to see the water spots on the plastic trims itself, but there's not much that we can do about it, because plastic trims, to completely remove the water spots, will require wet sanding, and that is a form of damaging the plastic trims itself. It's not an approach that we want to take. But when it comes to paints and glass, how you can remove water spots on paint will determine the severity of the water spots itself. Usually we find more success in trying to remove water spots through the third method, which is the paint correction process. A two-step paint correction can usually reduce the look of the water spots. We have found success with SONAX Cut Max and also SONAX Perfect Finish, two products that are very specific in what they need to do, cutting very harshly and also finishing very perfectly. One thing to also take note of is the fact that water spots, when they are etched onto the car's clear coat, there is little you can do to completely remove it, because if you want to completely remove something on the clear coat, you will have to embark on an approach that is similar to wet sanding, a very, very abrasive and a very, very invasive approach for paint correction. We personally don't like to do that because it affects the car paint, the very protective layer of the car paint. If you do it too much, you will end up at a primer coat level, and that itself is never a good thing. We did experiment on it before for the various body kits that we have with the workshop, on the bumpers, on the bonnets, but ultimately it's not something that we advise our customers to do. So we always have been promoting and advocating for proper drying process so that you wouldn't have to deal with water spots in the first place. Now, what is a proper drying process? To understand a proper drying process, you first have to understand the various tools that you have at your disposal, what are commonly used for drying the car. The first one would be a chamois cloth. What I have on hand right here is a chamois cloth. It's similar to what I showed you in the previous video. You might notice that it's a bit old and wrinkly. Chamois cloths are cloths that have leather properties in it. Some chamois cloths, I believe, also have plastic, are also made of plastic. Now, they are hard when they are dry. So this is actually a softer version. When you buy it off the shelf, they are usually quite hard. To use a chamois cloth, you first have to wet the chamois cloth, then you wring it dry, and then you put it over a panel and you dry the car. Now, when you dry the car, you never want to apply pressure on it. Remember our approach for car washing in general: minimum contact, maximum effort. Now, we will usually put it on the car panel itself, and then we will drag it. Using the chamois cloth to let it do the job, you will just dry the car, pulling the water droplets away. This is more effective on a properly coated car than a non-coated car. Chamois cloth cannot be washed through a washing machine. You either have to hand wash it and air dry it properly. They are made of materials that are very absorbent, but you will also require time for you to wring it out, because especially the size of the cloth do play a part in this, how much water it can absorb. When it speaks about water absorbent ability, we stand by this SONAX drying cloth. Like we said, this is the XL version, or I believe they also call it the SONAX drying cloth Plus, because they have two sides to it. And as we explained in the previous video, this SONAX cloth is of a higher GSM. Now, a lot of detailers, videos, or information online, they normally refer it to microfiber drying cloths, or you can dry a cloth with a microfiber cloth. This is not totally true, because like we mentioned, microfiber cloths are split and determined by the GSM level. Drying cloth, you do need a high level of GSM for it to be very absorbent. However, like we mentioned in the previous video, having a high GSM also means that this cloth would trap more dirt. Trapping more dirt, if your car is not washed properly, would carry the risk of scratching your car. Microfiber cloths are reusable, they are hand washable, but they also have a life expectancy, like all the products and equipments. You also have to take note of how to properly wash your cars, properly wash your cloth, sorry. You have to think of how you properly wash your cloth, as if you are using a softener when you wash, you might end up damaging the fibers faster. Now, to answer this problem, SONAX actually has a specific product, a specific detergent for microfiber washes. We would be interested to try it out and talk about it in the future video. The question of using a microfiber cloth or a chamois cloth, it always determines and boils down to what is your objective and what is your personal preference. For us, we are not a fan of constantly bringing dry the cloth, hence we opted for a more absorbent and a larger cloth like the SONAX microfiber drying cloth. Of course, this is not to say that chamois cloth are bad or useless. Chamois cloth do come at a lower cost, but we chose to invest in the microfiber drying cloth because of number one is the size of the cloth itself, and number two is how absorbent it is. So it actually helps us in our wash process. It helps us save time and also deliver results. Now, when it comes to drying a car, the conversation wouldn't be completed without the mention of a blower or blow dryers, as they are commonly known. Blowers, they would benefit the car drying process because, aligned with our method of approach, we always advocate a minimum contact, maximum effect. However, you might also notice that we don't completely dry the car with just a blower. For the bigger panels of the car, like the roof and the bonnet, we have always stuck with using the microfiber cloths, and the small grooves is where we use the blower to tackle the problems. Now, one area which the blower is very effective in removing water would be the rims, because the rims have a lot of bolts and nuts and small grooves that cloths might be unable to dry effectively, and that's where the blower really comes into place. Now, rims are a part where the drying process is sometimes neglected. Rims carry the risk of forming water spots because of improper drying as well. This is something that I feel all car owners have to take note, especially car enthusiasts that have invested their resources into getting an aftermarket rims. Common blowers in the market will include the Big Boy brand. The Big Boy Mini Plus blower is the one we have and you see in our videos. The Big Boy blower has served us well. The technical specs can be found on their website itself, and they function similarly to most blowers, but the Mini Plus has the added effect and benefit of having a heater. Now, a heater helps with the drying process faster, but it also carries the risk because on cars, especially cars with many accessories, these accessories are usually stick on in the form of using double-sided tape or silicone. Now, if the accessories are not fitted on properly, using a blower on the car carries the risk of you blowing the aftermarket parts away. I myself have had a very embarrassing episode where I blew off the side mirror cap of a Mercedes before. So this is something that definitely anyone using a blower, any detailer, or if you're doing it for your own car, you have to take note of it.
One thing to note about blowers is that blowers are not commonly found in petrol kiosk wash or DIY car wash because they are probably a hassle for individual car owners to set up, and most of the time in washing bays at HDBs and also at petrol kiosks, there is a lack of power points, so blowers might not be the most effective or efficient solution to dry the cars. However, as detailers, for us, it helps to ensure that every appointment under us is done in the most optimal and conducive environment, so that when we use the blower along with a drying cloth, it helps us to eliminate the chances of any cross-contamination, because if we combine these two methods of drying the car, it helps to have a higher assurance that the car will be completely dry. Now, with all the abundance of options and choices on the market itself, it's always important to choose the right equipment and the right product, no matter which step of detailing you're talking about. So we hope this episode has helped to illuminate the options you have on the market, and also we managed to share our views on them. Hi everyone, if you have reached to this part of the video, we would like to thank you for watching our video. We really hope you enjoyed it and found it informative. We are trying something new and we look forward to changing the landscape of Singapore's detailing scene. Now, if you like this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing to our channel for more content like this. For any questions, comments or suggestions for future videos, please leave them in the comment section down below. In our description box for the video down below, we will also include useful links regarding the products that we have. We love hearing from our viewers and we always appreciate your feedback. Lastly, don't forget to check out our other videos on our channel. We cover a variety of topics and we are sure that you'll find something that you're interested in. These videos take about 10 to 15 hours to produce for each, including the editing, filming and the script writing, so we really hope that you can share your thoughts on it.